Across the whole Milky Way, every radio dish and every comm tower suddenly woke up at the same moment. Ships in deep space froze as their screens filled with the same message. Every planet with people heard it loud and clear in their own languages. The words came fast and sharp, like a knife, cutting silence. Citizens of Andromeda, this is your final warning. Yield or be obliterated. Humanity has returned. Surrender your worlds, your fleets, your rule within one solar cycle, or face total end. No more words will come. The picture showed a map of stars, with Andromeda Galaxy marked in bright cold blue. A simple human hand symbol pressed over the center, like a stamp of ownership. At the bottom, the message ended with just 4 words. The citizens of Andromeda. On Earth, in the big command hall of the United Terran Concord, people stared at the walls of screens. Admiral Elena Voss stood in the middle, with arms crossed tight. Her gray uniform looked old and worn from years of real fights. Watched the map without blinking. A young officer next to her whispered something, but she raised one hand to stop him. They used our old prefix codes, she said in a low voice. Those are from the first colony ships, the ones we lost 4,000 years back. The room went quiet. Everyone knew the story. The great Exodus fleets left Earth long ago, when wars and hunger pushed people to the stars. Some ships vanished in the black. Some sent final screams before silence fell. Everyone thought those people died out long ago. Now someone far away was speaking with their voice. On the Krell homeworld, the tall scaled leaders gathered in their stone council pit. Smoke rose from the fire bowls as they hissed arguments. One elder pointed at the floating hologram of the message and slammed his tail on the floor. "This is human trickery," he roared. "They mock us with fake threats from a dead galaxy." But the young commander shook his head. "No, elder. The signal came through our deepest relay nets. Ignored every lock and firewall. It arrived at the exact same second on every world. That is not a trick. That is power we have never seen." Panic spread fast. In the hive concordance nests, the Queen sent chemical signals of fear through the tunnels. Workers stopped building and stared at glowing walls showing the same blue map. In the Vorath crystal cities, the tall shining beings hummed in low tones. Their minds linked and shared one single thought. The humans have crossed the void. Traders on neutral stations shut down deals and ran to their ships. Pirates hid in asteroid belts and turned off engines. Bounty hunters checked weapons and waited for orders. Everyone felt the same cold grip. Something big was awake, and it carried the name humanity. Back on Earth, the Concord called every leader to the hall. Presidents from Mars and Luna, joined by holo generals from the rim colonies, sent urgent pings. Scientists argued over data streams. The room buzzed with voices, but Voss stayed silent. She kept staring at the frozen image of the hand symbol. An old scientist pushed through the crowd. His white hair stuck out in every direction. "Dr. Hale," he said, "we pulled the signal apart. It carries layers we cannot crack yet. But one thing is clear. The source point sits deep in Andromeda, 2.5 million light-years away. No ship we have can reach there in a lifetime. Yet the message crossed in 0 delay." Voss turned to him. "How?" Hale rubbed his hands together. "Maybe a wormhole. Maybe quantum relay. Maybe something we never dreamed. But one fact stands out. They signed as citizens of Andromeda. They think that name belongs to them. They think we are the strangers." A murmur ran through the room. Someone laughed nervously. Someone else cursed under breath. Voss did not smile. She walked to the big table and tapped a command. The map zoomed out until both galaxies floated side by side. Milky Way on left, Andromeda on right. A thin red line connected them like a scar. "Used our language," she said. "They used our old fleet codes. They used our hand sign from the first Exodus banner. Someone out there carries our blood. They built something huge. They grew strong. They got arrogant. And now they threaten the wrong people. The president of Earth leaned forward. What do we do? Voss looked at every face in the room. We answer, she said. Not with words. With ships. Orders flew out fast. The fleet yards on Luna and Mars roared to life. Welders worked day and night. Engineers tested drives that had sat cold for decades. The battle carriers, Independence, Valor, and Resolve powered up their cores. Dreadnoughts with thick armor rolled out of dry docks. Frigates darted like wolves ready to hunt. The newest ship, Theseus, sat in secret dock. Its hull looked strange, bent in ways that hurt the eyes. Crew whispered it held a forbidden drive, one that can fold space like paper. Voss chose her flag captain, a woman named Kira Tan, with sharp eyes, no fear, bridge of Theseus, and watched the stars through the main port. She touched the console and felt the ship hum under her hand. Ready, she said to no one. On alien worlds, the watchers grew nervous. Krell scouts slipped close to human borders, but stayed far enough to avoid shots. Hive drones buzzed near jump points and sent pictures back to the queens. Vorath crystals tuned their songs to listen for human engines. Everyone waited for the next move. In a quiet room far under Earth, Voss sat alone with a cup of black tea. She pulled up an old file on her pad, pictures of colony ships launching from ancient Earth, smiling families waving at cameras, children holding signs that read, "See you in the stars." The last message from those ships came 4,000 years ago. A garbled cry, then nothing. She closed the file and stood up. They are not ghosts, she whispered. They are family. And they forgot who raised them. Alarms sounded across the fleet. Yards reported full readiness, jump coordinates. The Armada gathered at the edge of known space. Thousands of ships hung in formation like a steel cloud. Lights blinked in perfect order. Engines glowed blue and white. Voss stepped onto the Bridge of Valor, her ship. Her voice carried to every captain through tight beam. This is not a war of conquest, she said. This is a family matter. We go to find our lost kin. We go to show them what humanity became while they hid in another galaxy. We go because no one speaks in our name without our say. Hold fast. Stay sharp. We cross the dark together. The fleet answered with one word. Ready. Engines flared. Space itself seemed to bend. The ships leaped forward into the long night, toward the blue mark on the map, toward Andromeda, toward answers, toward whatever waited on the other side. No one knew what they would find. No one knew if peace or fire waited at the end. But every soul on every ship felt the same fire in their chest. Humanity was moving, and nothing in 2 galaxies would stop them. Ever be the same again. The stars watched in silence as the Armada vanished into the black, carrying one simple promise. We are coming home. Change. The fleet gathered at the rim of known space, like a storm waiting to break. Thousands of ships hung in perfect lines. Battle carriers at the center, dreadnoughts guarding the flanks, frigates scouting ahead. The Theseus sat in the middle of it all, its strange hull bending light in wrong ways. Crew called it the ghost ship because it looked half there, half somewhere else. Admiral Elena Voss stood on the Bridge of Valor and watched the final checks flash green across every screen. Captain Kira Tan waited on Theseus Bridge. Her hands rested on the rail as the ship hummed low and steady. She turned to her first officer, a tall man named Reyes. He nodded once. No words needed. The drive was ready. The forbidden fold drive pulled from a wreck found drifting near Proxima centuries ago. Engineers said it broke rules of physics. They said it folded distance like paper. They also said using it might tear the ship apart. No one cared anymore. The message from Andromeda changed everything. Order. "Jump on my mark." She spoke calm, but every captain heard the steel in her voice. The fleet answered with status lights blinking in unison, green across the board. Engines flared bright blue. The stars stretched long and thin. Then space snapped like a rubber band. The armada vanished from Milky Way space. They emerged in the dark between galaxies, a place no human had seen with living eyes. The void stretched endless, black so deep it hurt to look at. Stars from both galaxies shone tiny and far, like distant campfires. The ships floated quiet for a moment, letting sensors drink in the nothing. Then alarms rang soft. Data poured in. Strange readings from ahead. Faint echoes of signals old and new. Human signals. Reyes pointed at the main screen. "Look, sir, faint blips moving fast toward us. Too fast for normal drives. They match the signature from the warning broadcast." Voss leaned forward. "Show me the pattern." The screen zoomed. The blips formed a net, a search pattern. "We're coming." Tan smiled thin. "They sent scouts to meet us. Welcome party." She tapped commands. The Theseus pushed forward alone. The rest of the fleet hung back, ready to follow. The fold drive warmed again. Space folded once more. This time, shorter jumps, careful steps across the black. Each jump took hours of ship time, but days passed outside. The crew felt time slip. Strange dreams came to them. Flashes of Earth long ago. Children waving from colony ships. Fire in the sky. Lost voices calling across light years. On the other side, deep in Andromeda, a council met in secret. The chamber sat inside a fortress world that circled a black hole engine. The walls glowed with captured starlight. Tall, pale figures with silver hair sat around a long table. They called themselves the Ascendancy Elders. Their robes shimmered like liquid metal. Their eyes held centuries of rule. Elder Kale spoke first. His voice carried through the chamber like wind over ice. "The signal we sent was meant for the core word. Empires. The ones that press our borders. It was never meant to reach the old galaxy. Yet it did. And now something answers." Elder Lyra leaned forward, her fingers steepled. "We used the ancient codes, the ones from the Exodus fleet. We thought no one lived who remembered them. We thought we were the last humans. The map shows ships crossing the void, impossible speeds, impossible power. They come for us." The youngest elder, named Torv, stood up fast. His face showed fear mixed with wonder. "They are baseline," he said. "No mods, no gene work, short lives, raw anger. They look like the pictures in our oldest vaults, the ones we called primitive kin." Kale turned to the wall. A hologram bloomed. It showed the human fleet jumping closer with each blink. The shapes looked ugly, brutal, thick armor, no grace, no beauty. Yet they moved with purpose, like predators that never learned to fear. "We must prepare," Lyra said. "Our border fleets stand ready. Crescent lances charged, void shields up. We will meet them at the edge, and if they will not talk, we will burn them from the sky." Torv shook his head. "They cross 2 million light years in weeks. Our fastest ships take centuries, even with black hole boosts. They carry weapons we do not understand. Look at the data bursts they send. No demands, no threats. Just one word over and over. Home." The council fell silent. The word hung heavy. Home. A word their ancestors carried when they left Earth. A word they forgot in their rise to power. Now it came back, like a debt long unpaid. Back in the void, the Theseus made its final jump. The ship emerged near the Andromeda border. A single scout ship waited there, crescent-shaped silver and perfect. It hailed them on open channel. The voice came clear and cold. "This is Ascendancy Border Guard. Identify or be destroyed." Tan stepped to the comm. She spoke slow and clear. "This is Captain Kira Tan of the United Terran Concord ship, Theseus. We come from the Milky Way. We come for the ones who sent the warning. To speak with the citizens of Andromeda. Silence stretched long. Then the crescent ship answered. You are not welcome. Turn back or face our lances. Tan looked at Reyes. He gave a small nod. She keyed the channel again. We will not turn back. We will speak with your leaders, face to face, or we will take the right to speak by force. Your choice. The crescent ship hung still for a moment. Then its engines flared. It turned and ran, fast. The message was clear. The Ascendancy knew fear. Voss watched from Valor. The scout fled, and she allowed a small smile. They run, she said. Good. Let them carry the news. Let them know we are here. The fleet pushed forward. Systems fell under sensors one by one. Garden worlds, forge moons, shipyards hidden in gas giants, all marked human, all built with human hands, yet different, cleaner, sharper, cold. The Ascendancy had grown strong. They ruled half the galaxy. They crushed rivals. They built wonders. Yet they forgot the fire that started it all. Border world. A young Ascendancy pilot named Sira sat in her cockpit. She watched the human ships approach on her scope. They looked wrong. Not elegant, not perfect, but strong. She remembered stories her grandmother told. Stories of Earth. Stories of people who fought monsters with bare hands. Stories she thought were myths. Now the myths flew toward her in steel. She opened a private channel to her wing. This is not a drill, she whispered. They are real. They are coming, and they look angry. The wing answered with clicks and low laughs, some nervous, some eager, all ready. The human fleet slowed. They formed a wall across the border. Stars behind them looked small compared to the shadow they cast. Voss stood on her bridge and spoke to every ship one last time. We found them, she said, our lost kin, our blood gone wild. They built an empire. They forgot where it started. Now we remind them. No mercy if they fight, but offer the hand first. We are not here to conquer. We are here to claim what is. The fleet waited. Engines idled. Weapons hot. Eyes on the dark. Ahead, the Ascendancy gathered. Thousands of crescent ships. Thousands of lances pointed at the intruders. The two sides faced each other across empty space. One born in fire and loss. The other born in pride and forgetting. The first move belonged to the Ascendancy. A single ship broke formation. It flew straight at the Theseus. No weapons charged. No shields up. Just one small craft carrying one message. Tan watched it come, close enough to see the pilot. A woman with silver hair and pale skin. She looked human. She looked like family. The pilot opened her canopy. She raised one hand, palm out. In the old Exodus sign, peace. Tan matched the gesture. She spoke on open channel. Come aboard. We will talk. The small craft docked. The pilot stepped out. She wore no armor, just a simple robe. Her eyes met Tan's, and for a moment neither spoke. Then she said one word. Grandmother. Tan blinked. The word hit like a shockwave. The pilot stepped closer. I am Sira, she said. I carry the blood of the lost fleet. My line traces back to the ship called Hope. We waited for you. We thought you forgot us. Tan reached out and touched the woman's shoulder. No, she said. We never forgot. We just took longer to get here. Behind them, the fleets waited. One side shining and perfect. The other side scarred and unbreakable. The talk would come next. The truth would come next. And whatever happened after that, two galaxies would never forget the meeting of lost kin. The stars burned on. Silent witnesses to the moment, humanity looked at itself across the void, and found both stranger and mirror. The small craft from the Ascendancy docked with Theseus without a shot fired. Sira stepped through the airlock, her silver hair catching the harsh ship lights. She looked young, but her eyes held the weight of old wars. Tan met her at the hatch. No guards, no weapons, just open hands. The two women stood face to face, one from the old blood, one from the new. Sira spoke first. You crossed the void in weeks. Our fastest ships take lifetimes. How? Tan answered simple. We never stopped trying. We built better. We broke rules. We remembered what you forgot. Sira nodded slow. She looked past Tan at the crew behind her. Short, sturdy people in worn uniforms, scars on hands, faces lined from hard living. Not the smooth, perfect faces of the Ascendancy. No gene mods, no long lives, just raw human drive. Come, she said. My leaders wait. They want answers too. The shuttle carried them fast across the border, toward the fortress world called Elisara. The planet spun slow under a black hole engine that powered its shields and weapons. The surface gleamed with cities of white stone. Towers reached high, like fingers grasping stars. Sira flew low, so Tan could see the scale. Huge shipyards, forges that ate asteroids, gardens under domes. Everything built clean and cold. They landed on a wide platform, high above the clouds. Elder Kale waited there, flanked by guards in shining armor. He looked down at Tan with no warmth. You come uninvited, he said. You bring fleets to our edge. You speak of family, yet you come armed. Tan met his gaze. We come because you spoke in our name. You sent a warning. You signed it with our blood. You threatened galaxies in our voice. We had to see who dared. Kale turned and led them inside. The hall stretched long. Walls showed maps of conquered stars. Lines of silver marked the Ascendancy reach. Half of Andromeda bowed to them. They sat at a round table made of black crystal. Elders on one side, Tan and Sira on the other. No food, no drink, just words. Next, her voice, smooth like oil. We are the last humans. We left the old galaxy when it burned. We built this. We survived. We thrived. You stayed behind. You scraped in the dirt. Why come now? Why bring war? Tan leaned forward. We did not stay behind. We rebuilt. We fought. We spread. We filled the Milky Way with our ships, our people, our fire. You think you are the last? You are wrong. You are the branch. We are the root, and roots grow deep. Torv, the young elder, slammed his hand on the table. You mock us. You see our works and call them small. Our fleets outnumber yours. Our weapons burn stars. We can end you here. Tan smiled small. Try. The room went still. Then alarms screamed across the fortress. Red lights flashed. Screens showed the human fleet moving. Closer. Faster. The Crescent border ships tried to block them. Lances fired bright beams that could crack moons. The beams hit human shields and scattered like rain on stone. Dreadnoughts pushed forward, ugly thick ships with armor scarred. From 1,000 fights, they did not dodge, they charged. Gravitic shear ripped Crescent hulls open like paper. Causality torpedoes flew backward through time, hitting targets before they launched. Entropy beams aged metal in seconds, turning proud ships to rust. Kale stood up fast, his face pale. Stop this madness. We can talk. Tan shook her head. Too late. You fired first. Now you learn. Outside, the battle raged fast and brutal. Ascendancy pilots screamed as their elegant craft broke apart. Human marines launched from drop pods. They hit citadels hard. They moved like wolves. No fear, no hesitation. One squad boarded a command ship. They found AI overlords glowing in crystal cores. Human hackers sat at consoles. They spoke to the machines in old binary, like old friends. The AIs shut down quiet, one by one. Sira watched from the platform. Her hands shook. She saw her wing burn, her friends die. She turned to Tan. Why so fast? Why so cruel? Tan looked at her. Not cruel. Necessary. What humans do when cornered. We adapt, we break, we win. The fortress shook. A dreadnought hung above it, weapons hot. Voss' voice came over every speaker. This is Admiral Elena Voss of the United Terran Concord. Your empire ends today. Surrender your leaders, your fleets, your worlds. We offer one chance. Lay down arms, open your gates, or we finish what you started. Kale stared at the screens. His fleets crumbled. His defenses failed. His people looked to him for orders. He closed his eyes. Then he spoke one word. Enough. He turned to Tan. We yield. Take what you want, but spare our people. Tan nodded. Once. Bring your council to the surface. We talk face to face. No more tricks. Hours later, the surviving elders stood on the landing platform. Wind whipped their robes. Human soldiers formed lines around them. No cheers, no taunts, just quiet watchfulness. Voss stepped forward from a shuttle. Her gray uniform plain, her face hard. She looked at Kale, long, strong. But you forgot the fire that lit the first spark. You forgot we never stop. Kale bowed his head low. We forgot. We thought distance made us safe. We thought time erased the past. We were wrong. Voss turned to her officers. Secure the world. Disarm the fleets. Catalog the tech. Treat the wounded. No executions. No revenge. We came for kin, not corpses. The elders led them inside. Deep under the fortress they opened vaults. Full of wonders. Drives that bent time. Shields that ate energy. Weapons that whispered death. Human tech twisted into something new. Yet still human at the core. Scientists from Earth walked the halls. They touched the machines like old friends. They smiled wide. Cira walked beside Tan through the empty halls. She pointed at a wall carving. A ship launching from Earth. Families waving. The same picture Tan kept in her quarters. We kept the stories, Cira said. We told them to our children. We said one day the old ones might come. We never thought it would be like this. Tan stopped. She looked at the carving. We kept them too. We told them the lost fleet would return. We never thought we would have to fight to prove it. They reached the core chamber. A black hole engine hummed low. Power enough to light a galaxy. Voss stood there with Kale. She looked at the spinning dark, then at him. This ends your rule, she said. Your worlds join the Concord. Your people join humanity. No more ascendancy. No more citizens playing at gods. Just humans. Together. Kale nodded slow. It is done. Outside the battle stopped. Crescent ships powered down. Their crews stood silent on decks. Human boarding teams moved careful. No shots. No blood. Just quiet taking of control. Worlds across the border heard the news. They saw the fleets fall. They saw the ugly ships hang above their skies. And they understood. Humanity had come home. Not as guests, as owners. In the silence after the fight, Voss stood on a balcony overlooking Elisara. Ships moved slow, carrying wounded and supplies. She turned to Tan. We did it, she said. We crossed the void. We found them. We won. Tan looked at the stars. One galaxy behind, 2 galaxies ahead. Not one yet, she said. Just started. They are family now. Family fights, family forgives, but family never forgets. The wind carried the words away. The stars listened. The black hole engine spun on, powering a new age, one where humanity stretched across the dark. No longer split, no longer lost, whole again. And somewhere in the deep of Andromeda, a single beacon lit up, sending a quiet signal back toward the Milky Way. Home found, home claimed, home forever. The fleets settled in, the soldiers rested, the elders. The human fleets spread through Andromeda, like water finding cracks in stone. World after world opened its gates without another fight. The ascendancy banners came down. White flags rose in their place. Ships that once burned stars now sat cold in orbit. Crews stood on decks, heads bowed as Terran Marines walked past. No chains, no whips, just quiet orders and calm eyes. On the forge moons, workers stopped their machines. They looked up at the ugly human dreadnoughts hanging above like patient judges. Engineers from Earth landed in small shuttles. They spoke the same language as the Ascendancy techs, old binary mixed with new code. They laughed together over shared problems. They fixed broken drives side by side. The machines hummed again, this time for a bigger family. In the gene labs, pale scientists in silver robes watched human doctors walk the halls. The Ascendancy had stretched lives to centuries. They had wiped out sickness. They had shaped bodies like clay. The vats and shook their heads. Short lives, they said, make us strong, not long. We fight better when we know time runs out. The gene lords listened. Some cried, some nodded. They began to shut down the long-life pods, one by one. Admiral Elena Voss moved her flag to the heart of the old empire. The Dyson sphere around the tame pulsar, a ring of metal and light big enough to hold 1 billion cities. The sphere spun slow, pulling power from the trapped star. Inside halls stretched endless. Gardens bloomed under false suns. Rivers flowed in loops. People walked in robes or uniforms, all pale, all silver-haired, all human. Voss chose the central chamber for the final meeting. A wide room with walls of living crystal. The pulsar glow came through in soft pulses, like a heartbeat. The Council of Elders waited there. Kale, Lyra, Torv, and the rest. They stood tall, but their shoulders sagged. The fight had gone out of them. Sira stood beside them, her face calm, but her hands tight. Tan at her side, Reyes behind them. No big show, no drums, just boots on the floor. The elders bowed low. Voss raised a hand. No need, she said. We talk as equals now. Sit. They took places around a plain table. No crystal, no gold, just steel from a Terran ship. Voss looked at each face, then spoke. You called yourselves citizens of Andromeda. You built an empire across half a galaxy. You crushed those who stood against you. You forgot you came from a small blue world that refused to die. You issued a warning in our voice. You threatened in our name. Now we stand here. You will explain why. Kale spoke first, his voice low. We left Earth when it choked on war and poison. We fled to save the spark. We crossed the void with hope. We arrived broken. We rebuilt. We thought the old home died. We thought we alone carried the flame. We grew proud. We grew hard. We ruled to protect what remained. We never dreamed the roots still lived. Lyra added, we saw the signal go out. Our scouts warned of rising threats. In the coreward reaches. We sent the message to scare them away. We used the old codes because they carried weight. We never thought anyone would hear them from so far. We never thought you would come. Torv looked up, his eyes wet. You crossed in weeks. You broke our fleets like toys. You spoke to our machines like brothers. You asked our people why we thought we were alone. We have no answer. We were wrong. Voss listened without anger. She leaned back in her chair. We crossed because family does not abandon family. We rebuilt because humans do not quit. We came because no one uses our name without answering for it. You built wonders. Here is the truth. Your wonders belong to all of us now. No more hidden vaults. No more secret lords. No more empire. Your people join the Concord. Your worlds join our maps. Your tech joins our hands. Kale bowed his head deeper. What do you want from us? Voss answered straight. Everything and nothing. We do not want slaves. We do not want tribute. We want kin. Want the lost pieces back. We want the stories you kept, and the ones we kept to match again. Your children will learn Earth history. Your schools will teach Sol system wars. Your ships will fly Concord colors. Your lives will mix with ours, short and long together, strong and wise together. Sira spoke then. Grandmother, what happens to those who fought you, who lost friends, who hate the invaders? Tan answered before Voss could. They heal, they forgive, they remember, they join. We do not punish blood for pride. We correct it, we move forward. The elders looked at each other. Then Kale stood. He walked to a wall panel. He pressed a command. The crystal walls cleared. They showed every world in the old ascendancy. One by one, lights changed from silver to gold. The gold meant surrender. The gold meant joining. A wave rolled across the map. Half a galaxy turned gold in minutes. It is done, Kale said. The empire falls, the family rises. Voss stood. She walked to the window. Pulsar spun below like a captured heart. She turned back to the elders. Welcome home, she said. Outside the sphere, the fleet settled into new roles. Human engineers climbed into ascendancy ships. They learned the crescent designs. They smiled at the clean lines. They kept the brutal armor from their own. They merged the two. Ugly met elegant. Fire met ice. The result looked strange but strong, ready for whatever came next. On Garden Worlds, children ran to see the new faces. Short dark-haired kids from the Concord, tall pale ones from the Ascendancy. They stared, then laughed. They played games in the grass. They shared stories. One boy from Earth told of ancient wolves. Another girl from Elisara told of star bridges. They listened wide-eyed. The gap closed with every word. In the quiet hours, Voss sat alone in her quarters. She pulled up the old file again. Pictures of colony ships, smiling families, the Hope, the last lost ship. She touched the screen. You kept going, she whispered. We found. A soft knock came. Tan entered. She carried 2 cups of tea, black and strong. Voss took one. They sat in silence for a time. Then Tan spoke. We did what we came for. The lost are found. The split is mended. But the warning they sent still echoes. Other galaxies heard it. Other eyes watch now. Voss nodded. We know. We showed them what happens when you threaten humanity. We showed them we cross voids. We show them we do not forget. We show them we come home. They drank the tea slow. The pulsar light pulsed through the window, steady like a promise. The 2 women looked out at the stars. 2 galaxies linked by steel and blood. 1 people, no longer lost, no longer alone. Far on the edge of Andromeda, a new relay station came online. Human tech mixed with ascendancy power. It pointed back toward the Milky Way. It sent a single quiet message. Not a threat, not a demand, just truth. We are whole again. The signal crossed the void, fast and clean. Galaxy. It reached Earth. It reached every world. Humanity listened and smiled. The stars burned on. 2 galaxies bound by one name, one fire, one home, forever. Months passed since the fall of the old empire. The Dyson sphere around the tame pulsar became the new heart of 2 galaxies linked by one people. Ships moved constant between Andromeda and the Milky Way. The fold drives now ran steady paths, folding the vast dark into short steps. Families crossed the void in weeks. Children born on Earth played on Elisara moons. Young ones from the Ascendancy learned to run barefoot on Mars' red dust. The split healed slow but sure. In the central chamber of the sphere, a long table stood ready. Lights glowed soft from the ceiling. The pulsar spun below, sending steady pulses through the floor. Admiral Elena Voss sat at one end, her gray uniform still plain, but now with a small patch showing 2 galaxies joined. Captain Kira Tan sat beside her. Sira stood near the door, her silver hair tied back. She wore a simple Concord jumpsuit now. No more robes, no more rank, just family. Representatives arrived one by one. From Earth, a president with tired eyes. Mars, a general with dust on his boots. From Proxima, a scientist carrying data pads. From Luna, a builder with calloused hands. From the Rim colonies, voices young and old, all human, all different, all the same. They took seats, quiet and watchful. From the Ascendancy side, the elders came. Kale walked slow, his back straight. Lyra carried herself with quiet grace. Torv looked around with wide eyes, seeing new faces. Other leaders followed, former lords of worlds, now just people. They sat opposite the Concord group. No guards, no weapons, just open hands. Voss stood first. She looked at every face around the table. "We gather today to close one book and open another," she said. "The ascendancy ends here. The empire built on forgotten roots dissolves today. Your worlds, your fleets, your knowledge join the united Terran Concord. No more separate rule, no more hidden power, one people, one home, two galaxies under one name." Kale rose next. He spoke clear and calm. "We accept. We yield what we held too tight. Join what we should never have left. We bring our works, our lessons, our mistakes. We offer them freely to heal what distance broke." Hands reached across the table. They clasped firm. Short fingers met long ones. Rough skin met smooth, scars met clean lines. No words needed. The clasp said enough. Outside the chamber, screens lit up across every world in both galaxies. Relays caught the feed and sent it wide. No delay, no filter. Every citizen saw the same picture. A simple table, two sides, one people. Voss spoke again, her voice carried to billions. "To all civilizations in Andromeda and beyond, the citizens of Andromeda have yielded. Their worlds now stand under Terran protection. Their fleets rest disarmed. Their empire no longer exists. Let this be the only warning you receive. Humanity lives not in one galaxy. We spread not by chance but by will. We cross voids when we must. We return home when we choose. We do not conquer for glory. We claim what belongs to us. We protect what we build. Remember what we lose. And we never forget who we are." The feed showed the clasped hands, then cut to black. Silence fell across stars. Worlds listened. Species in the coreward reaches of Andromeda felt cold grips on their hearts. The Krell-like empires, the insect hives, the crystal collectives, all heard the same truth. Humanity stretched far. Humanity moved fast. Humanity forgave kin, but warned strangers. On a quiet garden world, far from the sphere, a young girl named Mira sat under a tree. She came from Earth stock. Short, dark hair, quick laugh. Her friend Lyra sat beside her. Tall, pale silver hair, slow smile. They watched the broadcast on a small pad. Mira pointed at the screen. "See that? They are us. Both of us." Lyra nodded. "Yes, both of us. Now one." They laughed soft. The tree leaves moved in warm wind. Two children from lost branches, now rooted together. In the shipyards of old, Ascendancy forged moons, welders worked day and night. They took crescent hulls and added thick Terran armor. They kept the clean lines, but gave them brutal strength. New ships rose, strange, beautiful, deadly, ready for peace or war. Engineers from both sides stood shoulder to shoulder. They argued over designs, then laughed and built better. Scientists shared vaults, secrets long locked, opened wide. Fold drives merged with black hole engines. Entropy beams mixed with causality torpedoes. Shields ate energy, then spat it back stronger. Minds that once ruled alone, now worked as one. The result looked impossible, yet it flew. On Earth, children learned new lessons in school. They studied the lost fleet. They studied the crossing. They studied the warning that brought family home. Teachers showed pictures of the Dyson sphere, the table, the clasped hands. Kids drew their own versions. Two galaxies joined by hands. Some drew stars, some drew fire, all drew home. Voss walked the halls of the sphere alone sometimes. She stopped at viewports and watched ships come and go. Lights trailed like threads, weaving two skies into one. She thought of the old file, the smiling families, the colony ships, the hope that never died. She whispered thanks to no one. Tan found her there one night. She stood silent for a time, then spoke. The broadcast worked. Other empires pull back. They watch. They wait. They fear. Voss nodded. Good. Let them fear. Let them learn. Humanity does not seek war, but we do not run from it. We cross voids. We find lost kin. We claim what is ours. We warn once, only once. They watched a new ship launch, a hybrid design, ugly and elegant at once. It jumped toward the Milky Way, carrying gifts, tech, stories, hope. Syrah joined them. She looked out at the stars. She spoke soft. I thought we were alone. I thought pride kept us safe. I was wrong. Family keeps us safe. Tan put a hand on her shoulder. Yes, family does. The three women stood together. No ranks, no titles, just people. Watching the dark they once feared, now the dark felt small. 2 galaxies fit in their gaze. The edge a new beacon rose, a tower of steel and light. It pointed both ways, sending messages constant, not warnings, not threats, just truth. We are here, we are whole, we are home. The signal crossed voids. It reached old relays. It reached new worlds. It reached ears that listened close. Every species in range understood the same fact. Humanity never left. It waited. It grew. It returned with interest. Children grew. Old ones rested. Stories spread. Ships flew. People lived, mixed, short and long, dark and pale, all human, all one. The stars burned steady. 2 galaxies linked forever, by blood, by will, by home. No end came. Only beginnings, new paths, new families, new warnings if needed. But for now, quiet peace, a peace earned across the black, a peace carried by the ones who never stopped moving forward. Humanity looked at itself across the void and liked what it saw.